Honestly, to me, it just seems selfish.
It's very selfish, 100%, 100%.
So Kit just came in. Kit is also a Liverpool fan.
Right.
She's saying new owners coming to the European football leagues are struggling to come to grips with the fact that you can pour money and time into a club that can still get relegated.
Yes, for sure.
And is that like the reasoning behind all this?
It's like part of it.
People are like, hey guys, it's me KP and I'm here with Raj and welcome back to the Mindset Podcast. Today is Fan Topic Friday and it has been a while since we've done anything like this, but we're going to be talking about football actually, or soccer for anyone that's from America. But yeah, I'm not like, I love soccer, first of all, let me say that. I've played it quite a bit. I enjoyed watching Liverpool quite a bit, but I don't keep up with the news, and apparently there is something big going on right now, and Rod's going to fill me in on that. He's going to fill all of us in, and, you know, we can get some insight on it.
Dude, you know, there's sometimes there's like these certain pieces of news that like just break the internet. Like this was one of those. Like it was so big that like everybody was talking about it, and even people that like don't watch soccer or football were talking about it, you know? So I feel like it's a great topic. Also, we have just a bunch of insane goals showing in the background, and I'm already getting distracted. We said we would, and I'm already distracted. There's like
what a passing play, first of all.
Oh, Messi, man, his finishing is ridiculous. Oh my! And then there's Ronaldo. Maybe this wasn't the greatest idea, you know?
What's up with the Super? Or all I know is that it was called the Super League, and
yes, it's called.
Crazy about it.
Let's get back on track. It's called European Super League. What it is basically 12 huge clubs, right? Let me get the exact names. I can tell you all the like big ones. So it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, all the big six from England. So Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, and then two Italian teams, Inter Milan, Juventus. And then German teams said no to this. So Bayern said no and Dortmund said no. The reason why they said no, I'm pretty sure, is because I think they have a rule in Germany where like 51% of the ownership is by the fans. So the fans obviously would outvote that. So they couldn't join basically. But the cool thing is, so I mean, I don't know if it's cool, but what it was basically is it's a league of 12 of these top teams. No one ever gets relegated. No one ever gets promoted into it. They have a group stage where they'll play each other midweek, every week. And then at the end, it's like a knockout style tournament to see who wins the whole thing.
Wait, so like the year that Leicester won the Premier League.
Yeah.
They would never get into the tournament?
Yeah, they would, like, that wouldn't enable them. Like, finishing top 4 means nothing, right? Because it's a closed-off tournament that started by these 12 clubs, founded by these 12 clubs. They might add people later on, but as of now, there was 12 clubs signed up for it. Another thing is that because they were in this, they're no longer playing Champions League. So
what?
Yeah, so they're in like UEFA has like a I don't know, it's like not a club, but like a, you know, like a thing of UEFA. Liverpool left it, all the Spanish teams left, Juventus left, basically every English team left as well. So no more Champions League, and the way they were thinking is that they could play the league, and then midweek instead of Champions League they would play this. Problem is, Premier League was like, if you guys are doing this, we're kicking you out of the Premier League as well. Because we're not going to have a system where there's a league that none of the teams can get into, because that's not like football merit.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not football merit. Football merit is things like Leicester happening, you know, or like things like Ajax destroying Real Madrid a couple years back in the Champions League happening, right? So obviously you're closing it off. Mm-hmm. So what are your like initial thoughts? We can go into it deeper a little bit, but like what's the initial thoughts on the European Super League?
So wait, why would they only go for big teams? Like, what if big teams like completely underperform?
Okay,
right?
so
isn't the whole point of Champions League to be like the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you go for the top 4 or whatever the cutoff is for each league?
Okay. Yeah, so there's a very simple explanation to this. Winning the Champions League gets you around 150 million pounds. Winning it, right?
Okay.
Just to be a founder in the European Super League, they were giving these teams 350 million euros. Just to be in it. Not to win it, just to be in the thing. So that is the main factor. The fact that so the main argument stemmed a couple years ago, actually, when the top 6 clubs in England tried to get a bigger share of like the TV money, right? Because they get TV money just like all the teams do. But their understanding is we bring in 90% of the revenue for Premier League, like people watching and stuff like that. So why are they sharing the wealth among the 20 people that are in the league? So that is the understanding of the big three, you know. So like they think that they deserve more of a piece of the pie because they bring in like the actual viewers. Like theoretically, who's watching Fulham versus Burnley? You know, like other than people that live in Fulham, live in Burnley, they'll for sure watch it. But I'm talking about like, let's go out of England, because even in England, everyone will watch it. But let's go out of England, right? Who's watching out of country? Who's watching Burnley versus Fulham? Rarely anybody. And then you put a game on United Liverpool, who's watching that? Half the world watches that. All right, so that's their main reason.
Like, I can understand that, but I wouldn't like that, to be honest.
Like, you wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense for you that.
Yeah, because they're part of a
league.
A league. It's a league altogether, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get.
That's right.
Okay, and then obviously that's what the big 6, you could say, thinks that they deserve a bigger piece of the pie. So this is like a super American model, you know? Like, if you look at the NFL, NBA, baseball, every sport here in America, pretty much, there's no relegation, there's no promotion. They have a second league, like the NBA has the G League, which is a lower tier, but no team from the G League's ever gonna play in the NBA, you know? That's just the way it's made. So, wow, that was a ridiculous free kick. So I guess what they're trying to do is build a system like that, because that way. And it was super, like, the rules were super American as well. So, like, they, like, had a salary cap. So, like, you can only spend in wages, like, 55% of what you make in revenue. So, very similar to the American model. And they had, like, referees would have microphones and, like, all this kind of stuff. It was actually good stuff. The only thing is, me personally, I have a love for the Champions League that's, like, unmatched. Like, there was something so crazy about watching when Liverpool won the Champions League. Oh my god, it was like crazy for like 2 weeks.
Insane.
Yeah, it was the craziest moment of my life, I swear. So like, I wasn't a fan of it at first because I'm not a fan of leaving the Champions League. But then like a couple days later, I kind of came to grips with the fact that it was happening, because it didn't seem like people were going to back out. I thought it was happening no matter what. So I was thinking, as long as they let us play in the league, I don't see an issue, you know? So, like, if Premier League was, like, fine, because I think eventually the Premier League would have caved, because they can't have the top 6 league, because then no one's watching the Premier League. Like, at least overseas.
Where would they be playing anyway, though? Like, after that? Really?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't want the only competition Liverpool's playing in all years to be just the European Super League, you know? And then to add the cherry on top, UEFA controls World Cup, Euros, all that stuff, right? So UEFA said whoever plays for a team that's in the European Super League is not allowed to play in the World Cup. Is not allowed to play in the Euros. So essentially, that's every top player in the world. You know, if you're talking about those 12 teams, Ronaldo, Messi, like all of Liverpool's player, Van Dijk, you know, like the big names, we're not going to be allowed to play in the World Cup and the Euros. And that's what really, I was like, no. I am not watching a World Cup where the top players in the world do not play in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just destroys everything I know about soccer, everything I love about soccer, about the World Cup, Euros.
Because you want to see that. You want to see that high level competition, you know?
Exactly. Like everything like that is crazy. And like, unfortunately, a lot of blame goes on all the blame should be on the owners. Unfortunately, a lot of blame in England, at least, is going on to the American owners, specifically because they're like, oh, you're trying to make it an American system. I get that, but the only thing is, like, if you look at it from a purely business perspective, right? They already think they're not getting the fair share of money from the league and Champions League. And then on top of that, this league comes along that offers you 400 mil just to be in it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I guess the owner's job is to make sure that the club is doing the best it can do and sustain itself, right? And then it's the fans' job to make sure it's also sustained, but in a different merit. So, like, you know, like heritage and stuff like that. So, like, from a business perspective, it makes sense. From a footballing perspective, I guess you could say it doesn't make sense at all.
Honestly, to me, it just seems selfish.
It's very selfish, 100%.
So Kit just came in. Kit is also a Liverpool fan.
Right.
She's saying new owners coming into the European football leagues are struggling to come to grips with the fact that you can pour money and time into a club that can still get relegated.
Yes, for sure.
And is that like the reasoning behind all this?
It's like part of it.
People are like okay. Let's take Liverpool for an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
They spend so much time and then they get like 17th place in the Premier League.
Get relegated.
You know? And it's just like, you know, that it doesn't make sense to us, but to me, it's just like, okay, it was a really, really unlucky season, and then next season will be better. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I agree too. And like even like this season, we've had so many injuries. No shot we were winning either Champions League or we were winning the league. You know, like it's just not possible with 3 of your main center backs injured. And we're struggling to get 4th right now. So we're in like 6th place. We're 2 points off 4th. But like,
which is pretty doable.
Yeah, it's still very doable. The only thing is, you know, we're super inconsistent. But the thing is, like, that announcement made me not care about the game, because at that point, you make top 4 or not, you're still in the European Super League, right? And that was gonna happen every season. So
yeah,
like,
so why would they try then? That's also one more thing. Like, wouldn't try as hard in Premier League, right?
Yeah, like who would care? It's either first or nothing, right? Like you either win the thing or the rest of the positions don't matter.
Yeah. And so, it's not like you get a second place prize.
Yeah,
right?
You do not.
So then they really just wouldn't try unless they're contending for first place. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like the idea of it. See, the thing that this is the main issue that I had. Right, so the reason why Liverpool playing Barcelona or Liverpool playing Madrid is so special is because it happens once every like 4 or 5 years, right? So like imagine I wouldn't know if seeing that every week would make me be like, yo, I don't know if this is as cool anymore. You know what I mean? But Puneet brought up a really good point, because I was like, dude, I don't think I'm gonna watch the European Super League. Like it's not Champions League, right? I'm like, I don't think I'd like it. And then he's like, so you're telling me if Liverpool plays Messi's Barcelona tomorrow, you're not watching that game? And I was like, you know what? You're very right. So what he was trying to say is, as long as the players are there, right? People are gonna watch it. Like we're gonna watch it as much as we hate it.
So think about this now, okay? Those players are there right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure football players want to like get as much attention as they can. Won't there come a time that maybe all these players that are like really, really good will be gone, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't let the players play in like the World Cup and stuff, I don't see how any player stays. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, think about Ronaldo, Messi. It's your last World Cup. Finally Ronaldo has a really good Portugal team. Messi's team is okay, but like think about Ronaldo. You're finally last World Cup. Your team is incredible. They have a good chance of winning the World Cup. You think he's gonna give that up? There's no way.
Yeah. It's just like, for us viewers though, I don't know. Like, yeah, we'd want to see like Messi go against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's great and all.
Yeah.
But I feel like you just lose it. You lose the this is gonna sound cheesy as hell. The meaning of football behind it.
Yeah, like football heritage. That's the phrase that I've been saying, really. Because like think about it, man. Like the Champions League is the champ. You know what I mean? Like, we sing songs about winning it 6 times. We make fun of United for not winning it 6 times. We make fun of City for not even having it. There's nothing I want more than City not winning a Champions League. You know what I mean? So I can say that we have one and you don't. So now all of a sudden, imagine just throwing that out the window and be like, no more Champions League. We're going to play the European Super League. And also, you know, like the music, even the anthem for Champions League is like iconic. You know what I mean?
Dude, like, honestly, going to the Liverpool bar that we went to in NYC was one of the best experiences that I've ever had.
Yeah. Now imagine when we went there for the Champions League final.
That it's just like it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, I can't even explain like what the Champions League means. You know what I mean? It's just so special. So like for them to just throw it out the window, crazy part is I was slowly coming to terms with the fact that we're gonna have to do it. I'm like, okay, fine, no more Champions League, but this is kind of gonna be the Champions League.
So was it like a mixed feeling of like you looking forward to seeing Liverpool go against such like top tier teams?
So it was funny enough. So Liverpool's owners are pretty cheap when it comes to like buying players. They're more of a buy to sell type thing. I was very excited that Liverpool was getting 400 mil because I thought that meant we were gonna spend. You know what I mean? So like in one way, I kind of almost thought it was gonna be fire, and then I'm like, oh, if they make us, if they let us stay in the league, then we still have the good players that we're getting because of the Super League, but we're still playing the Premier League. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, now I'm like convincing myself that it's a good idea.
So then what if Liverpool, because they're like what, 5th place, they just stop trying to win games because there's no point in them trying to win.
I mean, exactly. That's definitely a thing. Because like then say you get knocked out of the Super League early, then like the rest of the season is what? Nothing. Like you're just watching games for no reason, right? Because like placement doesn't matter and you're not winning the league. So yeah, it definitely has that. Ping said, did they ever ask the players and coaches if they wanted the Super League? So the crazy thing about this is, and Klopp was pissed in his interview because he said this in 2019 because the Super League came up. He's like, it's a terrible idea. Klopp was in the interview. He's like, nobody told me. He's like, I found out when everyone else found out online. Players didn't know about it. So the owners didn't even consult the manager or the players, which is, in my opinion, it's so messed up because the players directly impacted by this. Because like if you're in this, they're saying you're going to be banned from the Premier League, you're not going to be playing Champions League anymore, and you're going to be banned from the World Cup and Euros. That's like a direct effect on a player, right? Like this player probably grew up thinking about winning Champions League, Premier League, you know, La Liga or something.
Yeah.
And then all of it, winning the World Cup for your country, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't do it because it's the league that I created, that I'm going to be in, that you don't have a choice.
Yeah, but then that also changes their contract too, doesn't it? Like,
I mean, I don't think it's anywhere in their contract that they like have like the Super League is such a weird, not like nobody thought about it, like that it was real, that they probably don't even put it in their contract, but I'm sure they do now. Now going forward, I'm sure it's going to be there.
So, Kid has a question.
Yes.
What's your thought about owners buying up clubs that are sometimes over 100 years old and taking them away from the locals who built the club?
So, I've seen it happen both ways, where it goes great, and then when it goes, I forgot the name of the club, and it's gonna suck, but I remember. But like, they got bought over by this like rich owner, supposedly. The rich owner didn't know what he was doing, bankrupted the club, and the club had to liquidate, right? So if I saw that to my boyhood club that I grew up with, I would literally be dead. You know what I mean? But then if you look at Manchester City was never a good team, right? That was United City. Manchester was United City. But now they got bought over by an owner, spent a stupid amount of money, got the best managers. You know what I mean? Like, look at them now. City's arguably has been a better team than United for the past, 7-8 years? You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sure those fans don't care. Personally, like, I wouldn't know what it would feel like if it was, like, a club that, like, I grew up supporting, you know? But, like, it depends how it would go. I'd almost be okay with it if my team...
Valencia?
Valencia's owner. Yeah, sorry, I'm not that great with the Spanish league. I know Valencia was pretty decent for a while. Falcon also said, I'm going to give an unpopular opinion. The Super League would have been a great idea, but the way it was done, so money-based, there should have been more thought to it. Yeah, I think the Super League's also a good idea. Because at the end of the day, like, if you think about this, KP, it's like, if you...
I don't know.
Do you really want to watch? Like, how often are you gonna watch like Liverpool versus Fulham? You know what I mean? Like, I'll still watch it because I'm a die-hard Liverpool fan. But like the excitement of a Liverpool versus City or versus United is just out of this world, you know. But like I said, if I was watching it week in and week out, I don't know if it would like lose its appeal almost. Kid said it's not the same because Manchester City. Yeah, so I do agree, but like I'm talking about like the original question where it's just like if an owner bought the club. Or do you mean like if an owner bought the club and then went to the Super League?
Oh, I think that is what she means.
Okay, I thought you were just talking about like a takeover, like a Man City type takeover, you know?
People that support Liverpool can't really go to Barcelona.
Dude, no,
right.
You know what's crazy? You know what's the worst part about the Super League? They were gonna have games in Dubai, New York City, Los Angeles. That's where the games were. They weren't.
Oh, so not like in their.
Yeah, so just because Liverpool's playing United doesn't mean it was in one of the two. Like Liverpool versus United could have been in USA.
Isn't that something that already happens now?
I mean, it happens with preseason games, never like an actual game.
Like, how there have been tickets sold over here for like Liverpool versus whatever.
Yeah, but always preseason. Always. There's never a Premier League game here.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But like,
yeah,
is that not the same to people? Because
nah,
they're still
friendlies. I don't go watch friendlies because players don't care. Your favorite player will probably get subbed off in 20 minutes. You know, they're just using it to get ready for the season. So, like, it doesn't really mean much. But if you're putting, like, a real tournament here, then it's different, you know?
Huh.
Dude,
Okay.
Another thing I was thinking about is just, like, not even, like, the Leicester story, but, like, if you think about Monaco when they had Mbappe, Fabinho, and all of them, Falcao, they destroyed Man City. They destroyed so many good teams. Ajax a couple of years ago destroyed Real Madrid. They destroyed like big Juventus with Ronaldo. Like they destroyed big teams. Like stuff like that would never happen. You know, like upsets pretty much. Like there would be upsets like Liverpool lost to Real Madrid, but is that really an upset? They're both equally matched. You know what I mean? But like imagine like a Celtic versus Barca where Celtic beat them 1-0. Barca had like 50 shots and Celtic had 1. Like that would never happen. You know what I mean? Or like Jose Mourinho won the Champions League with Porto. That wouldn't be possible either.
Those are all like iconic moments.
That's what I'm saying. And that you're completely stripping that away. You know what I mean? Falcon said, if you think about it, the greatest clubs in the world in their own league against each other on a regular basis. Think about how the good teams actually would become.
See, now that Falcon's unpopular opinion, right? Where he was saying, like, because they're such great teams, it would be so much fun to watch, right? And like it's their tournament or whatever.
Yeah, which I kind of agree with, to be honest.
Eventually, those players go away, right? So that team is no longer that same team.
Yeah, but what if? Okay, so the only way I was okay with the Super League is that if players were still allowed to play in the World Cups and in Premier League. You know what I mean? So imagine a situation where the players weren't banned from the World Cups and the Premier League still had the teams. But then on top of that, they had the Super League instead of Champions League. That's like the reality that I was going with.
Then no team would try as hard in the
I mean, yeah, there's that always that thing with the Premier League where if you're not gonna win it,
they need to give incentive to a team to try to win their league.
Yeah, or really, not get relegated from their league.
Just money, you know. Besides just that.
Ping said that the Champions League is already a Super League. The argument they tried to sell this idea to the fans and players is too weak. Yeah. See, the only reason why I was also kind of okay with it, because UEFA is so corrupt it's not even funny. So like this was almost like a, you know, like they have like a corrupt monopoly over soccer, right? This was almost kind of like a slap in the face to UEFA, like, yo, we know you're corrupt, we're gonna do stuff our way. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, I don't know.
Whoa, sorry.
Yeah, that was a crazy goal. Liverpool versus Fulham isn't exciting if the game has meaning. It is. Will it push us up in the league? Will it push us down? I don't like watching Barca or Real Madrid games. To me, their play style is kind of dull. They're only exciting because it's usually important games. Yeah, so that's another thing. Because, like, how many times did we watch, like, a big game, like El Clasico or something, and that game ended up being so bad? I feel like recently it's been having a lot because, obviously, Ronaldo, Messi aren't there. But, like, personally, I did say that Liverpool-Fulham's not exciting. But trust me, I'm waking for me it's 7:30 in the morning if it's a 12:30 game in England. Trust me, I'm up at 7:30 watching the game. You know what I mean? Like nothing is gonna, because it's not even that I don't care about like I don't really care about Fulham, but like I like Liverpool enough to still wake up at 7:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? So I'm always gonna watch all games no matter what. That was like pretty much my point. It said Liverpool United games are always terrible.
Well, there was a game that I came over to your place where I actually fell asleep because literally nothing was happening.
Yeah, I mean that happens a lot with, like, you know, when say Liverpool versus Fulham, for example. Fulham's defending for 90 minutes. Liverpool has the ball for about 90 minutes. You know what I mean? And that's like the pattern of the game. Because Fulham's like, I'm just gonna defend, and we're just gonna get that point. Because to them, a point at Liverpool is great. You know what I mean?
I just feel like, I don't know, the like those games, they do get boring. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I see both sides. I was almost kind of ready for the Super League. I was like, whatever, it's gonna happen. I'm there for it. You know what I mean?
I mean, for us, we can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah, so like I don't hate the idea as much as someone from Liverpool would hate the idea. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a couple things. I've been used to the system because we grew up in America where that's the only system. And then also, I'm a fan that can't go watch every game. That can't go out to pubs every weekend to watch the game. You know what I mean? That doesn't know, like, the history behind, like, different places in England. So, like, I'm almost looking at it with a different perspective. So, like, I definitely wasn't as pissed as people from Liverpool or people from England would be. Kid said, I'm surprised you're okay with that. I would literally stop supporting the team. The club would be dead to me. See, like, it's so different to me because I'm so used to that system. You know what I mean? Like in NFL, same teams every year. Basketball is the same teams every year. You know, like nobody gets relegated. You could finish.
Aren't there divisions and all that stuff?
I mean, there's like the G League is the lower division, but a G League team is never going to come up to the NBA. You can go. So you can go 0-82.
How do teams move up leagues, or how do
there is no
players
such thing?
Get up the league?
So that's another thing. So the system here is built for the way the leagues are. So right. So what happens is say I'm playing. Say I play baseball, right? I play baseball in high school and I'm really freaking good at baseball. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go to a good college for 2 years or 1 year. I think you have to go 1 year now. So I go to a really good college, play for a year, and then the draft comes around and I get drafted by a really crappy team, usually, because the teams that are the worst get the best draft picks, right? So I'll get drafted by a team and then I go play baseball in MLB. And that happens in every league. So every sport has a draft pretty much where you pick kids from college. The reason this doesn't work in England is because in England there's divisions, a championship. You can go all the way. I think they go down like the farthest I know down is like 19 leagues down. It might even go farther than that, to be honest. So like if you're a good player, you're gonna just get bought by a team in a higher league and just keep going that way, right? So like the whole system in England or just in Europe is not built for a league that doesn't have relegation and promotion. It needs it. So that was the biggest issue with everyone in like England, Spain, everything like that.
Yeah, because I mean,
It's built to be that way.
I'm just reading what Falcon's saying. So players are the only people that can move around. Teams stay where they are,
Yeah.
but that's not how the entirety of like Europe system is.
Yeah.
Because Europe system is all like, if you made it to the top, you're moving up,
Yeah.
and you can do incredible things over there or get relegated again.
Yeah.
You know, you have to work really, really hard, and the team as a whole, which is what I think the fans support, the team as a whole moves up.
Yeah, so that's one of the, when I first started watching soccer, that's one of my favorite things about it, like the relegation promotion, because it adds a lot of incentive to the league, right? So if you're watching basketball, for example, right, 82 games, say you start 2-50, right? Say in your first 52 games you only win 2. Not even. Say you start 2-30, right? So out of your 30 first games you only win 2 games. The season's chalked for you. Unless you go on a 30-40 game winning streak, you're not making the playoffs. Even if you make the playoffs, you're probably going to get bounced in the first round, right? So that team will start tanking. So they'll start losing on purpose pretty much. They won't make it obvious, but they'll lose on purpose. And then so they could get a better draft pick. And I absolutely hate that about American sports.
That sounds stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's smart. You know what I mean? Because like at that point, you know, as an owner, as a manager, you know your team's not gonna go anywhere. You either make a couple trades, but who's gonna trade for players that are bad, right? So you can't make a trade. So your best option, your only outlet, is the draft. So you know what? You're like, let's keep losing till we get the best pick in the draft.
Yo, Raj, you know what you're making me feel? You're making me feel a newfound hate for American sports.
Oh my god. No, no, to be honest, American sports, to me at least, are like the NFL is the greatest sport that they made commercially available. And what I mean by that is like to watch, because like they have this thing called the NFL Red Zone, just like they created, like, I swear to God, like Buffalo Wild Wings, places like this were built around the NFL. Like, it's incredible, but it's also built
it seems scummy.
It's built for the American system. That's what it is. It's not built for, you know what I mean? It's not built for European systems where they already have 19 leagues below that you can go up and down from. Like, it's just not meant to be played that way. Yeah, so they, like Falcon said, they are trying to fix the tanking system. So NBA is like a lottery. So like the worst 3 teams have the same percentage chance of getting the top pick, stuff like that. Kid said the American system is for money, not the people. Yeah, that's also true. Everything like American sports wise is commercialized. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean, like, I still have a great time watching every sport pretty much, but it's definitely not as deep as like European sports, specifically soccer. You can just tell by the way people, like, you know, like the way people sing at the games and stuff. Like, that's like unheard of here. Nobody does that, you know?
Yeah, no, actually, and that's like some of the best feelings, to be honest.
Yeah, like when you're singing along with your team, like with everybody, everyone knows the song. Like, it's
there
crazy.
Are like thousands of people that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even like tens of thousands at the stadium.
Yeah.
And you guys are all in unison supporting this one. Like, it's just not, you don't see that here.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, you can't really. Like, and even if you do, it's very, like, Kansas City, I know, is one team specifically, the Kansas City Chiefs. Their fans are insane. So, like, say they have a 1 p.m. game, KP, right? So NFL games, the earliest ones start at 1 p.m. So say Kansas City has a 1 p.m. game at home. People start tailgating outside the stadium at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So they'll be outside partying, like doing all that things. They'll sing, they have songs and stuff. And then the game's at 1. But they're there at 3 or 4 p.m. It's like insane. But like that's very hard to find as opposed to Europe, where like pretty much every team has like songs and, like all that kind of stuff.
Anything about the Giants?
What about the Giants? Giants are actually looking pretty good this year.
Huh?
Are you talking about the New York Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good this year.
But as in, like, do they have like songs and like?
They don't have songs. There's tailgating. I've been to tailgate, and it's honestly more fun than actually going into the stadium and watching the game. Like sitting in the parking lot and doing the tailgate. They have like They have like food trucks that come there. People bring games. People literally make fire pits out there. It's like everyone. I recommend everyone should go to a tailgate at least once in their life. It's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Falcon said there's not that many bad teams in the NBA now. Like, end me clear. You know what that I also think that is? This generation, and this is completely off topic, but this generation of NBA players are just all so crazy good. I don't remember the last time the NBA had this many good players in it. So I think that's also one of the reasons why there's not really a bad team in the NBA. But like, what I mean is, in the NBA, you can put a pretty good guess on who's gonna win this year, right? It's either gonna be the Lakers from the West, the Clippers, or the Nets from the East. Nobody else really has a chance. You know what I mean? Unless some crazy injury happens. But like, that's NBA specifically. The thing I love about Champions League is you never know who's gonna win. You know?
And big upsets. That means a lot to like.
The biggest thing is the upsets, because even in the European Super League, I can't tell you who was gonna win, but there's never gonna be an upset because there's never like an underdog like Ajax and stuff. Kid said it's a lot of fun, but you didn't mention that. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I said, it's more fun to stay outside than even go into the stadium and watch the game. So everything else around the sport is fun. But like, if you're see with the sport, anything, as long as you're passionate about the sport, any sport is fun. I feel like, you know, like I know when we're watching football, we'll watch two teams that we don't even care about, and it gets hype. At least the way when we're hanging out. But it really depends, I guess.
I don't watch football. I just know that the Super Bowl is a thing.
Yeah, that's basically everyone in the world knows. U.S. owners are trying to ruin my club. See, that's I don't know. The only problem I have with that statement is that City's owner is not American, Chelsea's owner is not American, Real Madrid owner is not American, neither is AC Milan or Juventus, and all those other teams are also in the Super League. You know what I mean? That and the fact that the chairman of the Super League is Madrid's president, who's not American either. And he founded the whole damn thing. You know what I mean? So like, I see what you're trying to say, but I don't completely agree with that statement. Also, how did it end up that like there was no English owner of the top 6 in Europe? How did that happen? Who let that happen? That's so crazy to me. Like, how did 4 of them end up being American?
Like, wow, there's actually no English owner in the top 6. Just
yeah, like, how did that happen? Who let that happen?
Money. That's it.
Could be.
That's it.
It might be, you know.
Chelsea joined because of FOMO? FOMO. I don't know what that
Liverpool
is.
and United were ones pushing it. Yeah, they do. They were the ones pushing, and I agree with that. But at the end of the day, Chelsea still joined. City still joined. They could be like Bayern and Dortmund and not join. You know what I mean?
So, do you think Liverpool players were pushing for it or no?
No, Liverpool. No player in any team wants it. If anything, all Liverpool players came out and actually put a post on Instagram saying, "We don't want this." Nobody wanted it. You know what I mean? Pink said the American leagues are socialist in quotes socialist/communist league. It's a group of 30-ish teams. They have each other's back. They share revenue. They have a salary cap. Bad teams get better players. Teams are franchises. You can move from city to city. True. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the American sports system is, in my opinion, it's still very good, but it's specifically tailored to the way the US works. Like the whole college system, the whole draft system, you know what I mean? Like a draft would not work in Europe for soccer. Like, it just wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, if you're
because it was like, imagine if it was built the way that the American system was, then yeah, it would work. But
yeah, if it was built from the ground up, if the roots were like that, yeah. But you can't take the system that they have now with all these leagues, over 100 teams, probably way more than 100 to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that and try to implement like the American system, let's call it the American system just for keepsake, but you can't implement that because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit.
Toby's saying there are too many clubs for a draft to work.
Yeah.
How many clubs are in the NBA?
Huh?
How many clubs are in the NBA?
32 or 30. 30 or 32.
And each club has like a draft pick?
Yep.
Wow.
And like you have the best chance of getting the first pick if you're trash, and you have the worst chance of getting the first pick if you have like a 1% chance if you win the whole thing. 30.
So then completely unrelated. All right.
Yeah.
Not to say that other teams don't have like good facilities or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
If a team that is lower takes the person that is considered the best pick, won't they give like the person that's at that team that's considered really bad, their potential is sort of like marked down, isn't it?
Depends on how good the player is. So like it depends. Like there's a player that like I really really like. His name is Luka Doncic. He came from Real Madrid's basketball team in Spain. He went to a pretty bad Mavs team, but they built around him and they turned that around. He is like one of my favorite players in the league because he's so good. It's unreal. He'll make players that are not so good superstars type good. You know what I mean? So like it really depends.
Let's consider like someone from like football, right? Like when Neymar went to PSG.
Yeah.
Right? When he was on Barcelona, he was insane.
He's still insane, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, but like it's different, isn't it?
I don't know. In terms of like actual play, he's still just as good.
And
Coutinho's different because Coutinho, I don't know what Coutinho did. I don't know what happened to the guy.
Like we were going crazy about him.
No, but we were at that point. We were a better team than Barca. At the point that he went to Barca, we were the better team. That year we made Champions League final. The year he left. You know what I'm trying to say? So like he didn't necessarily go to a much better team. That's what. You know what, Toby? You're right. He no longer has Hendo to make him look good. That's so. Dude, I miss Hendo, by the way. He's been injured a couple of years. It's not. Ping said the system works well in America. College and minor leagues are equivalent to the second and third divisions. It's just like you can't mix the two models. Yeah, I completely agree with that. You just can't.
Why is USA so like? To me, it's stubborn. Really.
It's all about the money.
It's
all about the money.
I sort of hate it. Like
I don't hate it because the sports are still incredible to watch. If you're into them, you know what I mean? Like baseball's incredible, football's incredible. They still have integrity, surprisingly. It's still very fun to watch. The only thing is, it has to be brought up in the system that we're in. That's the only way. You can't just implement a system that makes no sense. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. You know what Hendo did? Hendo had a meeting with every captain in the league. So he gathered all of them and he's like, what are we doing about this? And then after they had that meeting, the players decided to come out against it. Because obviously the players, you don't want to come out against something and then like you actually join it and then you're screwed. You know what I mean? But like he convinced everyone to be like, yo, let's talk back. We are not going to do this. Yeah, I love Hendo so much. It's not even funny. It's not even funny.
Well, what I was trying to get at was like a person, NFL that takes like the first pick for the draft.
Yeah.
They're doing really bad, so their facilities aren't as good to like.
That's the only thing that's kind of wrong. So like in England, I've seen it. Like the teams in the lower part of the table, even lower leagues, their like stadium won't be as nice. Their facilities won't be as nice, stuff like that. Here it's completely different because the money is pretty much spread. Because it's one league, right? Like the main league. So if you're in the league, you're in it. It's like I said, the European Super League. You get a certain amount of money just for being in it. So like, there's not one NFL team, not one basketball team, not one baseball team that has a bad facility. They're all world-class facilities. Every team in the league, you could be the worst team, and you will still have the absolute top-tier facility. You know what I mean? Like, incredible stadium, training, everything like that. But like I said, that only works in our system. Ping. Oh, I like what Ping said. Ping said it's a money-based system versus a merit-based system. That's what it is. 100% what it is.
So would you prefer a money-based system over a merit-based system?
So
so there's two different people. There's two different Rajas that I know. There's the Raj that, like, you know, enjoys the merit-based system when Liverpool is getting into Champions League and they're playing the best of their best, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the business Raj. You're a business major, right?
Yeah.
You're considered a business major.
Yeah, business major. Yes. Business major.
So someone that understands how money works, because I don't. I clearly don't. Like, that's not anything that I've majored in or anything like that.
Yeah. So
like,
I mean, depends on the sport. If it's any sport other than soccer, I like the system that we have. I like the system that the US has. But if we're talking about soccer, I never want like a Super League to happen, because I don't want Liverpool to be there just because we're Liverpool. You know? That like takes, because that almost takes the merit away from winning it. So yeah, you win it, right? But like, what did we do last year that gave us the right to be here this year? You know what I mean? So like, every sport other than soccer, I like our system, because I think it gives a chance. So this is specifically the reason why, right? So Milwaukee Bucks were the worst team in basketball for a long time. The people of Milwaukee, poor guys, poor people, bro. They were suffering, okay? And even in Cleveland, terrible team. They were suffering. Didn't win anything. Like, Cleveland as a city, KP, okay? If you take all the sports that they play, have not won anything in 50 years, okay? They're terrible. Guess who's the number one pick that year? LeBron James. Right? Guess who gets the number one pick? Cleveland. When I say it turned the city of Cleveland around, not only did it like turn the team of Cleveland around, the entire city was benefiting. So like, every business around the stadium profited, all the hotels, like the small business, all this kind of stuff profited from one singular player being in Cleveland, right? So now if you take that to soccer side, unless you get taken over, like Man City get taken over, you're never gonna see a team that's like struggling, or like rarely see a team like that not get their best players bought. You know what I mean? Like, so like, for example, Southampton, they had one of the best teams in, I think it was like 2013. They had ridiculous team. That season that they finished, I think they might have finished in the top 7, top 6. That season, they lost about 6 players. And guess where they went? To the top 6. All went to, Luke Shaw went to United. We bought Sadio Mane. We bought we bought like Lallana, Mane. We bought so many people from there. We bought Van Dijk from them. You know what I mean? So like, it never gives a chance for the smaller teams to do good. Our system, on the other hand, is complete opposite, because even the small teams that are in tiny markets, because you know, like if you're not in a big city like New York or like London, for example, like, you never really have a chance of landing that big player. But if it's a draft system and you're looking at someone like LeBron James and you have the worst team, you have a real chance to land LeBron James, you know? So both systems have their ups and downs. It's not like, even though the US is a money-based system, the thing I like more about it is that the fact that even smaller teams have a chance. But I like the system in England. But like I said, we only support the top teams. Like, you know, we're not supporting like Fulham, so we don't know how much. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
I'd like answer the question without answering the question. I don't think I really answered the question.
Kit's asking, can a player turn down the draft in that system?
Can the player turn down the club? So they would have to make it really obvious, but no player really ever does, because you go from, think about it like you're growing up in college, making no money, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're getting a $3 million contract to play a sport. Who's turning that down? Doesn't matter the team, right? Someone puts $3 million in front of you and says you play for this team. Who's saying no? Right? Coming from college where you don't make any money. So like, yeah, you could turn it down, and I've seen it happen before. Like Kobe, for example, was like, I'm not playing for the Hornets. So he got traded to the Lakers. So it's a little bit different, you know? OG said, what are you watching right now? We're just watching a bunch of goals from Champions League because we were talking about the Super League. Yeah. And like we're comparing it to like the US sports system. Basically. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's against their will, but it's not really. Nobody's ever gonna turn down. Like, if you're getting handed $3 million, it's not really against your will, you know? He said that's definitely you. No, I think that's KP that just rounded the keeper and finished that. That was KP.
Yeah, I'm definitely a striker, Raj.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't play defense at all, right? Like, whatsoever.
Dude, you know what I miss playing? Because I remember that one time we were playing and you were playing defense. You like took the ball in the chest and just sent it, and I just like looked at you and I'm like, that way. I want it that way. And you just absolutely punted that ball to me. That was crazy.
Wait, when I saved the goal?
Yeah, so you saved the goal, and then like 30 seconds after that, you just punted it like 40 yards down the field.
Yeah, that was still the best moment that I've ever had.
And I was just there. I'm like,
no one expected me to come around from behind the keeper and save the ball. That was just amazing.
Kids saying there's plenty of footballers who have turned down a lot of money, like Torres took a pay cut. See, that's very different though. Torres, by the time he was going to Liverpool, already played with Atletico, already was getting, you know, even back then, you're probably still, even if you say you're getting, so say you're 16 years old, like Harvey Elliott right now is making like £10,000 a week. And I think it's higher than that, but I'm just giving a low amount. But like £10,000 a week, you know what I mean? You're not exactly struggling, right?
Yeah.
And then you compare that to a kid that's coming up in a draft, right? This kid probably been grinding his whole life, you know, like not many people that get that good are coming from rich families anyway. So you've been grinding all your life, and then you enter the draft and you get the chance to get a lottery ticket placed in front of you, pretty much, you know? This team's offering you millions of dollars to play a sport that you like. It's very different from like even Gerrard turning down United.
Yeah, because in the US, you're getting paid absolutely nothing to be in college.
Yeah, like you just don't make money. You have 16-year-olds making 10, 20K a week in England, which is completely different, you know what I mean? Imagine being broke, like there's so many stories. Every time someone gets drafted, players also get traded without their consent. Yeah, that happened to Trae Young and Luka Doncic. They actually were on different teams and they got traded. So like, you know, there's wins and losses, but like I hardly find any player that really cares about like getting traded. You know what I mean? No, it's not that they should be thankful. It's that so say, how old are you when you start playing a sport? What do you say, KB? Like 6, 7? You start like really playing a sport?
Like really playing? Yeah. I'm gonna say 12.
Okay, 12. So you say you're in, you know, like the little league or whatever. And then you start watching, so you see all these professionals and you make it your dream. I'm gonna play in that league someday, right? So when you finally get to that point where you're in that league, all that hard work you put in is finally to this moment, you think you're gonna care where you go? Nobody cares.
Because you're getting paid the same amount, basically?
Not even you're getting paid, you finally made it. You're in the big leagues, right? So like it's like a grateful opportunity to be able to play in the NBA, in the MLB. And you probably, like 99.9% of the time, when you're playing, when you're like practicing to be in a league, when you're finally there, it's not like this is the team that I want to go to. It's like I made it, you know, like you made it to the professional league.
So is that the difference between like EU and USA, where players in the USA are just like, oh, I made it to this league, and versus people in Europe, they're like, oh,
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
this
because Kit said just because you're poor, it's okay for them to like buy and sell you as a player. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that you don't care what team you go to. You know, they don't really care. And then so you're saying, what if it's your dream to play in a specific team? You can get to that specific team if you really want, but when you're first getting, and also that's not, so like let's take Jamie Carragher for example, right? He was an Everton fan growing up, born and bred. To this day, he's a Liverpool legend, right? He played for Liverpool, you know. So like, I'm sure it was his dream to play for Everton. He probably didn't want anything more. But did he turn down playing for Liverpool? He didn't. At the time, I'm sure he didn't want to. But you know, you do what you got to do. And then once you're in the league, in the US at least, once you're in the league, if you're a top player, and like Ping said, you have the power to bargain with your contract. So like, you can say, I'm only playing here. You know? Or like James Harden was playing on the Rockets. They're pretty bad. He's like, I'm literally not showing up until you guys trade me. So he got traded where he wanted to. So player power is that's another thing. Player power is so big in American sports that it's not in England, for example. I guess like the top like Neymars and stuff like that.
I mean, we've had cases, I'm gonna say, in Liverpool where like it wouldn't be as obvious, but like players wouldn't like play.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to get signed off.
Yeah.
On a contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're supposed to give names.
Yeah.
But I think people know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Dude, another thing is like, so before like you actually get drafted, that like there's like a whole process. So like every team in the league will come see you practice. You know, like you'll be doing drills and stuff like that. They'll come see you. So like at that point, you could pretty much tell that team, like whoever's there, like they're gonna ask you, do you want to play for us, or like would you be okay with playing with us? You know what I mean? Because they don't want to. At the end of the day, the team, if they're getting a high draft pick, they're investing their future into you. So they're not gonna pick up a player that really does. So like if I really hated a team and I didn't want to play there, when they came to watch me, I'd be like, guys, you could draft me, I'm not going to play for you guys, like I don't want to. You think that person's going to draft you? There's no shot. And Ping brought up like Eli Manning. He kind of did the same thing to come to the Giants. He was like, might have got drafted, and he's like, nah, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. But
doesn't that defeat the purpose of the draft pick then?
No, it doesn't.
The way
because
I'm looking at it,
here's
how I'm looking at it, Raj. Okay.
What?
Let's say you have Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting picked first, and everyone knows he's like the star of the draft or whatever, right? Everyone wants him.
Okay.
He says no to the first team because he knows that they were trash.
Like during tryouts.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever. He knows that they were like bad because they played bad last season or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the second team, they also played bad because that's how the draft works. Third team, they also played bad.
Yeah.
Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, right? Until he gets to the team that he's okay with. That team is going to be like, yo, Kobe, he's amazing. We want this guy. Isn't every team going to want Kobe?
So this is where that doesn't make sense, right? So first of all, there's rarely ever just one good player, right? So think about how many years in the draft that there was a LeBron. One out of the last, 40, 50 years maybe? 60, right? Like I guess Jordan before that. But even Jordan, when he got drafted, no one knew he was going to be Jordan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yes, there's never a standout player like that, first of all. So there's always, every team always has a list of like 5, 6, 7 options that they can take, right? And then they're going to screen each player pretty much. Screen how well they fit with their system, how compatible this person is with what they're looking for, right? Like personality, everything, personality, skills, everything is screened. So if you go into a gym and the player's like you know, not trying as hard, even if it's the best player in the draft supposedly, the team's like not trying, he's like not really practicing, kind of gives you crappy answers when you answer, no team is going to invest their time into that. They'll just move on to the next. If they can't find anyone they like, you can trade your pick down to get multiple picks. You know what I mean? So like, say I have the first pick and I don't like anybody, I can trade my pick to whoever's picking 7th and be like, give me your 7th and your like 20th, and I'll give you the first. So like, there's so many options out of it that like, it's never like a player is forced to go somewhere they don't want to. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's not even like the player will be forced, because at that point 99% of players don't even care. They just want to get into the league. They just want to secure the bag. See, yeah, Falcon, Steph Curry picked 7th. He's greatest shooter of all time. Jimmy Butler won the finals almost. Tom Brady was the last pick of the draft, and he's the greatest football player of all time. You know what I mean? So like, it's never that black and white where it's just like,
okay,
yo, this is the best player, he doesn't want to come to me type.
So then players will take what they get. Yeah,
and like, I don't know, it's just like that. That's too granular to be thinking about. Dr. Lee said, I played the football back in my days. I was so good at it. I want to see Dr. Lee play football. Which football? I want to see Dr. Lee play American football.
American football?
Yeah, I want to see. I think he could take a tackle or two.
I would prefer anyone that, like, out of our family that doesn't play soccer, to play that and just give it a shot.
What, American football?
No, soccer.
Oh, soccer. Yeah. That's
because
that's definitely true.
I feel like they would honestly gain a new perspective on life. Like, when we played soccer, we were trash, right? And then we got better. And then like, the way we looked at it like changed everything.
I mean, I say the same thing about the gym, but it's just whatever you like. You know what I mean?
I guess so. Plans to go to the gym.
Dude, I love going to the gym. I could talk about that for like 3 hours too if I needed to. Damn. So I can't believe we started with European Soccer League and it turned into a US versus Europe debate.
Is that what it always is though?
That's what it's been on. So I only follow like, I don't really follow anybody that supports like Spanish teams or Italian teams, you know? Like 90% of the people that I follow for soccer news is like English people, specifically people from Liverpool. So yeah, it's been like a lot of shit talking on like the US owners and the way our system works and stuff like that, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I see what they're saying. I'd be pissed too if I grew up in Liverpool and like all of a sudden some guy that owns a team that's not even from Liverpool's like, we're not gonna play in this anymore, you know? I would lose it.
Yeah.
So I definitely get it. I don't think that's what it is, but I get it.
Oh.
Falcon just said he's white. He's Captain America. He's pretty much Captain America. That's what I heard from this whole situation.
Okay.
I think Dr. Leaf would be good at volleyball. I heard he got tall.
Volleyball takes a lot of precision.
Yeah, the ones that
I think
that you don't have.
Wow.
Yeah. After that charity event, I don't trust anything.
I think I've gotten better because I started playing volleyball in college, or like when I was over there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I did they had beach volleyball courts.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And like I played with complete like random people, but like I learned how to serve, all that stuff, spike sets. That was afterwards. But anyway. So you're saying final thoughts on European Super League. It should not come.
I'd prefer it didn't happen. Yes.
You would prefer if it didn't happen.
Yeah. If it did happen, I honestly, as long as Liverpool's still playing in the league and the players are still allowed to play in the World Cup, I wouldn't care as much as someone from like England or Liverpool does. But I wouldn't like it either. I like the system. I like the way the system is now. It needs to stay that way.
I think you'd also want them to try their level best in the
league. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they stop trying because there's nothing for them to like try for, then they just wouldn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just assuming that if you get all that money, that we're gonna always be spending it on good players. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ping says that bet KP has a mean spike and block game. I don't think so. I've
I
seen
do.
too many things.
I really do.
I've seen too many things.
Yo, that was back then, and I also I let people get in my head back then.
Yeah, I've seen too many
When
things.
people told me like, "Oh, you shouldn't spike," I would be like, "Damn, I'm not good enough," and then that would like ruin me.
That like one moment still haunts me.
Wow.
It really does.
Not just from England, Italy, Spain, China, India, but China, India, and Australia in numbers large enough to tempt broadcasters across the planet to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for the rights to show their games.
Yeah.
But while soccer is now the biggest business in sports, it remains, at heart, an intensely local affair. Teams rooted in neighborhoods and based in small towns compete in domestic leagues that have existed for more than a century, competitions in which the great and good share the field, and at least some of the finances. Manchester United squad had demanded a meeting with Woodward to express not only their fury about being forced to find out.
Oh yeah, the players had a yeah. Like, why would you do something like this without even asking us? Which, you know, is probably right. They're the ones playing.
Liverpool's most senior player, James Milner, revealed that he and his teammates had not been consulted about the club's involvement in the plan. I don't like it, and I hope it doesn't happen. What a god.
This article reads like a screenplay for a mafia. You know what reads like a screenplay for a mafia, dude? That the guy Fiorentino Perez, the guy that owns Madrid, you know what his nickname is, KP? His nickname is Don Perez. Yeah, there's a picture of this guy. Let me tell you a story about Don Perez, okay? So go scroll up. Yeah.
Wait, he was a driving force behind it?
Yeah, he's the main founder behind the Super League. But find his picture.
What the heck?
I'm going to tell you this crazy story about what this guy did.
This guy?
So, what this guy did was, there was a player that played for Barca. His name was Luis Figo. Really good player, right? So, this guy started talking to Figo's agent, and he's like, if I become Real Madrid president, I want Figo to be a Madrid player. And somehow they got it under contract, and I don't even think, like, Figo's agent, like, told him, because Figo's agent never thought it was going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, this guy wins the presidency for Real Madrid, and he's like, Figo's a Madrid player, right? So he goes to Barca's president at the time, and he goes, right now, we own the rights to Luis Figo. You can have him back. You just got to give us 30 mil as part of the contract. And he's like, when you give us 30 mil, I'm going to go to the tabloids and tell them that you're paying 30 mil for our supporters to watch games for the whole season. So Barca's owner at the time is like, I can't do that. Like, he just came into the job too. He's like, I cannot put out an article that says I'm paying them 30 mil for our players, for their fans to come watch right? Like, you can't do that. So then he ended up having to, so at this point, he has Luis Figo, who's a Barcelona player, and Barca would have to pay 30 mil to keep their own player. And at the end, they were like, this is not worth it. We'll just give you can take Figo. So then Figo became a Madrid player. That's how it happened. It was terrible.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. All you guys that gave your opinions, honestly, we do appreciate it. As controversial as the topic as it was, European Super League and all that stuff is, to me, not something that should happen, because it's a very American-based model, and I'm gonna say Raj feels the same way. It's a very American-based model, in a European system.
Yeah, it'll work great here.
Yeah, but it's just not something that I would enjoy watching football. Anyway, be sure to check us out on all of our socials. We post on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We also upload our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and many other platforms. So if you guys want to watch there or listen there, you guys can. If you guys want us to talk about anything specific, like today Falcon wanted us to talk about the Super League, then be sure to let us know. We'll give our thoughts, and you guys can join in and give your thoughts, and we can have a good time. Hopefully no one got too heated.
Yeah. You never know.
That's not our intent. Just trying to share everyone's views. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and watching again. Have a wonderful day. Peace.